guys, it's Monday, February 26th. Gosh, I haven't done a video with this camera in a while. It's been either on my phone or, you know, like car vlogs and stuff. Anyway, John's working today, and I'm just kind of piddling around doing a few things here and there. I finished up a freelance project last week, so I don't have anything. I have a few revisions to do on a class or 2 classes that I'm gonna start teaching in March for NAU, and so I've got to work on that today. But just an update on my dad. He's not doing very well. In fact, one of the caregivers who hadn't seen him since before his fall actually asked the lady who runs the care home, she said, did he have a stroke? Because he's just acting weird. And sure enough, like the other day, he was sitting at the table for breakfast and just picked up his mug of coffee and just dumped it right on the table. And then later that day, he was just sitting there in his wheelchair, and all of a sudden he just starts clapping madly. And I mean, just weird stuff. But I guess, you know, a hip surgery is pretty hefty trauma on a body, and it's clearly messing with him. And he also is not wanting to eat hardly anything. So I don't know. This could be the beginning of the end. I always say my dad's the comeback kid, so anything's possible, but this is worse than we've seen. And you know what? I'm listening to an audiobook right now. If any of you are going through this kind of a thing, I would encourage you to listen to it too. It's called, or buy it, go buy it. My mom's just finished reading the actual book. It's called Being Mortal, and I think the author's last name is Awande or something like that, but just look up Being Mortal. And he's a doctor, and he's talking about all of the heroic things that we do in medicine today with the elderly, and that in a lot of cases it just causes more suffering. And instead of just letting, you know, nature take its course, and then, you know, we do things that make them hang on just a little bit longer and all that stuff. It was a really eye-opening book. So, so yeah, if you're in this kind of situation, you might want to read that. It's a very interesting book. Very interesting book. So I haven't finished it yet, but I think I'm on like chapter 5. I think I'm halfway through it. So, anyway, I want to show you little Miss Monica and what we have set up in our living room, because we're just trying to contain her to keep her from, you know, just wreaking havoc on the whole house. So we have our living room is just destroyed with her stuff, but let me show you. Okay, so we have this cheap rug. It's a good thing that we got a cheap rug here, because she's peed on it a few times. Not in her pen though, which is a good thing, because dogs are supposed to learn, you know, they're not supposed to go in their crate. They're not supposed to pee where they sleep, but she hasn't done anything in here either, but around here on the rug she has a couple of times. And so anyway, we hooked up this pen that we got from PetSmart. Now it's called PetSense. It's a pet store that's in the Verde Valley. And I think this thing was, you know, it's a short one, so I think it was like $72. It hooks to her crate. And then, so as you can see, I have all her toys and a bowl of water, and she's going to town right now on a teething toy. She's, you know, she'll be 4 months next week, and so she may be, I'm guessing she's getting to the teething stage, because up till now she hasn't really seemed like she was teething, but today she's kind of viciously going after that toy, so maybe she is. This little container I had inside her pen with her toys in it, and so I could at least pick things up and put them in there, but then she started eating that, so I took that out of there. And hello baby, hi, look at you, little face, look at you, hi. Anyway, so, oh, and look at this. Her, can you hold still? No, I guess not. So she's still got that ear that's flopping backwards, which is kind of funny, but her ears are trying to stand up. The one over on this side the one on the right side is sort of flopping to the side, and then the one on the left side over here, stands up, but the top of it flops backwards. So hopefully the cartilage will build up on that, and it should after her adult teeth are developed. We're still crate training. That's going really well. She's had very few accidents in the house, and then we're also teaching her to use the dog door. And I'll show you how the setup we have for that. You see, we have a real danger here of coyotes, and also having an animal encounter a skunk. And so even though we have a fenced yard, they can still get in. We had a coyote in our yard a couple weeks ago. I saw it and freaked me out because our gate was closed, so it jumped the fence. And then, of course, skunks and raccoons and all that kind of stuff. So what we have done to prevent Monica from encountering that is, and we use this during the day because now all the time because we're trying to get her to learn to use it, but it's especially for at night or when she's older and we're not home and she can let herself out by herself. Let me show you. Okay, so this is on our back patio, and there's the dog door, and this cage here, the previous owners had this set up, except for they had dirt here, like a garden area or something. It wasn't a garden area, but their dog was peeing there, but it just stunk. So we dug all the dirt out and just put a really heavy layer of rock, so then we can hose it down. We can pick up the poop that's in there and we can hose down the rocks and get the pee to kind of, you know, sink down. Anyway, it is hooked to the wall by 2 brackets. So it's not going anywhere. So if an animal was coming and trying to, like say Monica was in there, an animal wanted to try to get her, like a coyote, of course a skunk is not going to try to get her, they couldn't. And I doubt a coyote would come on our patio, but if they did, they would not be able to get her. So she can come in and out and she's completely protected. And then skunks are not going to come in here because we have this little patio area has a wall and a gate. So they're not going to be able to get in here. So really the big concern is coyotes. So Monica will not let herself out the door yet. It's a double flapped door, and that is to keep like if the flap kind of just doesn't land properly and leaves a crack, we don't want hot air coming in the summer or cold air coming in the winter. So she knows how to come in from the outside, I think because she's more motivated to get back in the house. But going outside from the inside, she's not as keen on doing. So I would have to push her through or flap the doors open so she'll go through them. But yeah, so it's kind of an eyesore for our patio. You know, here's a little sitting area over here. And so it's a bit of an eyesore, but I don't really care because it's keeping my dog safe. My laundry room all organized a couple days ago. It was kind of becoming a dumping ground. I put my hang dry here. But we have this up here. This is where the cats eat. And so, yeah, just to be away from the dog. And then this was just kind of messy. So I put those things in the basket are our chargeable things, you know, cords and stuff for devices. And then that box, it holds my essential oils. So, but this had just kind of become a junk area. And so I got that cleaned up. I am also going to be making some vegan zucchini banana bread today that, yeah, it doesn't have any milk. It doesn't have any eggs in it. I'm using some of my homemade applesauce in the recipe. These are from zucchinis that I grew over the summer, and I shredded them in 2-cup portions, and then that will be going into the zucchini bread. And then I'm also thawing out some roasted cherry tomatoes from my garden, and I'm going to be using that in a recipe later on today. So yeah, I'll be busy with that. Well, you guys, I just talked to my mom. My dad has pneumonia again, and the doctor thinks this is it. he's prescribing morphine to keep him calm and comfortable, and apparently my dad said something to the caregiver this morning about wanting to die, and he's never ever even acknowledged that he's old and could die. I mean, he's always sort of avoided that topic, and so I think he's ready. My mom is calling my one brother and my nephew, and I called my brother who lives in Florida and talked to him, and I think maybe it could be in the next few days. So he's not very coherent right now. I'm going to go see him tomorrow. Yeah, kind of a weird, surreal thing, but the doctor did say that dying of pneumonia is actually a pretty peaceful way to go. So I guess that's good.
Can you guys see that? It's actually snowing. It was raining. And now it's snowing, which is rare here. I guess they say that this area gets about a ½ inch of snow a year. And we haven't had anything so far, so I guess it's trying to give us our ½ inch. Although nothing's going to stick. It's super wet. Look at, the wind was blowing so hard yesterday it blew our chairs over. I've gotten quite a bit of snow in Flagstaff overnight, and school is canceled there, so my Bible study this morning is canceled. Look at this, you guys. There are some serious fat flakes falling here. This is so crazy. I mean, look at the roof. This is just crazy. The snow coming down is absolutely crazy. Okay, my cats are saying they want to go out. Chad's never seen snow. I mean, honestly, this is just crazy. I mean, we have birds singing up in the tree as snow is falling down. Look at Chad. He has never seen snow before, ever. Monica's seen it up in Flagstaff, but she's never seen it falling. Mary has had plenty of experience with snow. Chad's like, what in the world is happening? And Monica is way more interested in chasing Mary right now. Oh, there she goes. Good heavens, look at all this snow. Hey guys, it is, what day is it? Saturday? Is that March 3rd? Something like that. Thought I would give you a little bit of an update, as it is looking like my dad only has maybe a couple days to live. They weren't really sure. The lady at the care home said that she thought he would probably not make it to the end of the month, and then today was really different with him, and his oxygen levels dropping really low, and he's not really wanting to eat. I think he had a little bit of yogurt this morning and then just didn't want to have anything else. My brother came in from Florida last night, and he went over to see him today. I haven't talked to him since he saw him. I've spent a couple of the last few days with him. Yesterday he was just sleepy, and well, he was on morphine, so he, wasn't responsive. But the day before that gosh, did I tell you guys about that when I sang to him? I don't think I did. Anyway, he was a little bit more, he was more lucid that day, but still in bed. And then apparently today he has taken a turn, and I didn't go up to Flagstaff today. I'm going to be up there tomorrow, but they seem to think that the end is coming very soon, and so even though I cannot imagine going the rest of my life without seeing his sweet face. I think it's time for him to go. You know, he's just been deteriorating, and he'll be so much happier in the presence of God, in a new body. And so I think it's just time. So you know, he's had his health has been declining for the past 11 years. And, you know, just we've noticed things over all that time. And then in the past 3 years was, you know, a big shift. And then in the past year, boy, the past year, he's really gone down. So, I don't think you can ever be ready to let someone go. But as ready as I can be, I think I am. So, anyway, I'm just heading over to the grocery store right now to pick up a few things, and if there's a bright moment to this week, it is that Monica kind of turned into a dog this week. She learned how to use her dog door, and today she has not had any accidents in the house. She's been using her dog door, and we took the playpen thing down and just blocked off the back of the house, and she hasn't, you know, she's been running around and terrorizes the cats when she can, but she hasn't destroyed anything. She just plays with her toys, and she does a good job of wearing herself out instead of us having to try to do that. And so I think, well, she spent 2 days, when I was up in Flagstaff, the 2 days, well, the last couple of days I brought her with me. One day I did not bring Monica with me, but I brought her up 2 days, and so she hung out with my mom's dog, and I think she kind of learned how to be a dog from her. So that was really, really good. Hi, you guys. It is Monday, March 5th, and my dad passed away yesterday afternoon. Oh, man, it is just a weird feeling, you know. You can be anticipating something for so long. I mean, we've been anticipating this for years, but when it actually happens, it's just jarring, you know. Like, it feels like such a shock. And how can it be shocking when we've been expecting it? But I guess the reality of losing somebody is just, you know, well, I don't even know how to say it. I'm feeling sad that I've lost him, really relieved that he's free from his illness. I'm sad that, you know, I think about all the years that he was going downhill, which was probably about 11 years, where this Parkinson's, the kind of Parkinson's he had, he didn't have tremors, you know, he wasn't always jerking or anything like that. He had everything else that goes along with Parkinson's, which is, you know, just a lot of stiffness, and they call it a disease of shrinking. They just kind of get really stiff, and they walk with a shuffle, and yeah, just lose a lot of their mobility. And then his came with what's called Lewy body dementia. He never forgot us, though. That was a nice thing, that he never forgot any of us. Mostly he was confused by dates and times, and sometimes he would forget words, names of people or places. And sometimes he was just confused about things. Like, I'd go see him and he would think it was yesterday when it was just a few hours ago. Or he would call me and forget that he had just called me a few hours ago. But, yeah, just so sad to watch that happen. And then at the same time, you know, if it hadn't been for his illness, I wouldn't have spent so much time with him over the last 4 years, just because he would have had his own life, even though we were in the same town. You know, you don't see your family members every single day, and so I just spent a lot of really
Oh, there's Mary making noise. Hi, Mary. Just a lot of quality time with him, which was really great. And I have to tell you, I saw him Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I was not with him when he passed away. But on Tuesday, I decided to bring my guitar over and sing to him, and I sang his favorite song, which is an Amy Grant song called El Shaddai, which is about names of God, and it was his favorite song, and he loved that song, and he would kind of get teary even talking about the fact that it mentioned many of the Hebrew names of God. And so I sang it to him, and he immediately started crying. And then next thing you know, he started singing it with me. This little frail old voice. And at the end of the song it says, "I will praise you till I die, El Shaddai." And we were both crying at that point. I've got my cat's tail flipping over the camera. What are you doing, Mary? Anyway, what a special gift, because I saw him the next day, and he was in bed the day that I sang that to him. The next day I came over, he was in bed, and he was kind of curled up, and he was super sleepy. And he had a sweet little smile on his face. My mom and I were both there, and but you know, he was far less with it that day. And then, so let's see, that was Wednesday. I went to see him on Friday, and he was not with it. He was just asleep, and I got this sweet picture, though. John was with me, and I took a picture. I held his hand, and I'll pop in a picture so you can see it, but it's a picture of our hands. Ugh. Anyway, my brother came in from Florida on Friday night, so he went to see him on Saturday. I wasn't there on Saturday. And then my brother saw him again on Sunday. John and I were actually on our way up to Flagstaff to go see him when we got the phone call that he had passed away. It's hard for me to believe I'll never see his sweet face again, but I'm happy that he is in heaven and has a new body and no pain and no confusion. And my little kitty is sitting here in my lap comforting me. Oh, Mary. Anyway, so I'm staying home today. I'm going up tomorrow. My mom and I are going to go over to the funeral home, and we're going to take care of there's a lot of stuff to do when somebody passes away, so I'm going to help her with that. And then in the next, we're probably going to give ourselves a week, and then we're going to start planning his memorial service, which we have decided will be in April. We're doing it later just because we want people who want to be able to come to the memorial service. We just want them to have a chance to plan for that, and we want to get help, give ourselves a little bit of time to let this sink in. But yeah, so my mom and I are going to plan that. And yeah, so it was such a long journey, 11 years of his health just going, and even before the 11 years, gosh, I remember back in 2005. Yeah, 2005, maybe before then, 2004, when he started having memory issues. It just was such a long, long, long journey, and I'm just happy he's free. Yeah. So that is that's it.